Hey, it looks like we are live. It is Sunday night, so you know what that means. It's time for Learning with Lynn. And so I'm Lynn Huber.
No, I'm Richard.
And this is Richard. And what do you think is so funny? He thinks he's funny.
You always look over at me when I'm pointing at you because he's learning with Lynn.
It's Learning with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so we know you were here. It looks like we are still waiting for people to come on, but let me do some things. Let me move some things over here and share my screen. There we go. So this is going to be action-packed tonight. There's going to be a lot of information here tonight. So don't panic because this is a recording. So you can always watch the replay and you can watch it as many times as you need to understand it because we're going to get into some heavy numbers today.
Break it down, chunk it down.
Chunk it down. So first things first, this is my blog. This is onlinebeautybiz.com. And this is my blog, and it's training for my team and for any Avon rep. Everybody is welcome here. Originally, this started because I needed a way to answer my team's questions. You know, I get the same questions all the time, right? I got an order in my online store. Where do I find it? Or how do I share the digital brochure? You know, and so that's why I started this blog many years ago. But if you're brand new, you want to click on Getting Started right at the top up here. Just click on Getting Started and you'll find everything in there about how to get started with Avon. And then on the left-hand side is my posts, and you'll see they just go down. There's about 6 or 7 on this front page, and the most recent ones are there on the top. On the right-hand side, you'll see sign up today to receive our newsletter. So if you're not getting emails from me, you can sign up here to receive those emails. Right below that is a search. So if you want to know how to do something, you can search for it. Or we have categories. So like, you know, maybe fundraising or goal setting or leadership. Anything that's tagged with these tags will show up there when you click on that. So if you're on my blog on a desktop, you'll see this main part of the screen here. That's called the main screen. And then this right here on this side is called the sidebar. So you have the main screen that says welcome to my blog, and then you have the sidebar, which is the categories and the search and all that. If you're on a phone, you'll see that main part, and you'll see the sidebar will move to the bottom. So you'll have to go through about 6 or 7 posts, and then below that you'll see the sidebar, so you can find the search and the categories there. And so that's my blog. So today we're going to talk about goal setting plan for higher sales and earn the Cancun trip. So let's see. It looks like there's people on. So if you're here, say hi so I know you're here. Also, so I know you can hear me and that everything is going smooth. And you never know, right, with the internet. Knock on wood. But anyway, goal setting plan for higher sales. So we're going to help you make a goal setting plan to get anything you want this year. You know, it's easy to dream about what you want, but if you don't have a clear plan to get there, it's just a dream. And so how about let's just make it happen this year? You up for that? So before we go into that, let's go into real basics. So growing your Avon business is really pretty simple. There's just 4 main steps. Number 1, prospecting for new customers and recruits. Number 2, getting a brochure to every customer, every campaign. Number 3, following up with every customer you gave a brochure to before you place your order. And then number 4, take the orders, submit it to Avon and deliver to your customer, or send them to your online store and to place their order, right? And then just rinse and repeat. It's just that simple. So going back through it, prospecting for new customers and recruits, that's the lifeblood of our business because people die, people go away, people try something else, they quit buying Avon, they just disappear. Whatever. I mean, so you're constantly having to prospect. You're constantly having to grow. And it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. If you're Walmart, you're constantly, that's why they advertise. That's why you see ads on TV because they're constantly recruiting for new customers, right? They constantly have to prospect. If you're Starbucks, if you're Avon, if you're any company, you constantly need to be prospecting. And so that could mean a lot of different things. When you're brand new, we ask you to make a list of everyone you know. Hopefully you can get like 200 people on that list. And then you're just going to go through that list and text them or send them a Facebook message or however you do, call them, whatever, and say, hey, I just started selling Avon. Would you like to see a brochure? right? If you're past that point, hi, Lisa, thanks for commenting. Good to see you here. So anyway, if you're past that point, and that document, by the way, that 200 names or whatever on your list, that's a living, breathing document. We've been with Avon 20 years and we're still working on building our list. So you're going to be crossing people off that after they've either joined they become a customer, or they've signed up to be a representative, or they've told you they weren't interested or whatever. You're going to cross them off your list, but you're going to constantly be adding people to it. So that document is living and breathing. It's kind of constantly just evolving, right? And so, if you, hi Doug, hi Lisa, good to see you guys. So if you're past that, you've kind of worked through your list of everyone you know, then you need to get outside of your list. And the truth is, if you want to have a thriving Avon business, you need to get outside of your warm market anyway, outside of the people who you already know. So you're constantly looking for new people. And so that might mean going out to the grocery store and talking to people. I prefer to stand in front of the grocery store and pass out brochures and get names. Some people prefer to walk through the grocery store and just chat with people that they meet. And I don't know, maybe you're looking at something. I don't know, maybe you're in the freezer section and you're looking at a particular kind of meat or something, and there's somebody else standing there looking too. Then you can make a comment, hey, I've never tried this. This looks interesting, or whatever, and you get a conversation going with them, right? That's one way to do it. That's not my preferred way, but that's one way. Or you can talk to the cashier as you're walking through the check stand. Hey, I sell Avon. Have you seen, we have a brand new digital brochure. It's really cool. It's interactive. You can try on colors and everything right from your phone. Can I send you a link? And if they say yes, you get their name, put them in your phone and text them that link right then, right? So that's a way to do it. So that's your prospecting. Then you're going to get a brochure, whether it's paper or digital, to every customer, every campaign. And then you're going to follow up with them, every customer that you gave a brochure to, like just 2 to 3 days later, you're going to say, hey, I just met you at Walmart or whatever, or I texted you a brochure, just checking to see if there's anything I can do for you. And then, when they text you or call you or whatever with orders, then you're going to submit to Avon. But it's just really simple, and we have an automated system that makes that easy, and we'll get to that in just a second. But we also have our Daily 8 system, which is a proven formula to help you be successful in your business. When followed consistently, the Daily 8 plan will help you maintain the consistency required, because it's all about being consistent. It's about doing the same things over and over again, those same 4 steps, right? Over and over again. That's how you're going to have a successful Avon business. So you can print this sheet and use it to track your weekly points. I already have it open, right? Oh, I don't already have it open. I lied. Let me get it open. So, whoops, wrong one. Print this sheet right here. There we go. Daily 8. So this is your Daily 8. It's about 9 pages. Hi, Lily. Good to see you. Welcome from Dallas. So this is like 9 pages. You can print one because there's a lot of information here. But the second page is the one you probably want to print a bunch of these and have them handy. And you're just going to put the week of, so it'll be today's date or tomorrow's date, depending on whether you start your week on Sunday or Monday. Figure out when you're going to work your business. I strongly suggest that you put some time in 5 days a week just to be consistent. That might look different for everybody. Back when Richard and I were working, we did probably a half hour to an hour of focused effort every day. And then when we had our days off on the weekends, like on Sunday, mostly we did 5 hours or whatever of really pushing it hard on that day, right? To make up for it, because we just couldn't do it. We were working so many hours. But find a way to put some effort in 5 days a week at least, because that's what's going to keep you consistent. And then prospecting for customers. So give yourself a point for every name that you get for customers or team members. So that could be you're working through your list and you text the first person on your list and you say, hey, I just started selling Avon. Would you like a brochure? If they say yes, that's a point, right? You already have their contact information because you just contacted them. But now that can count as a point, and now you're going to put them into your system. You're going to get them a brochure every campaign. You're going to get them a follow-up every campaign, because that's how you're going to be in business, right? That's what you need to do. If they say no worries. You have 200 people on your list or whatever, and you were constantly prospecting for new ones. So if they say no, that's not a problem. No worries. How's little Johnny doing? Or whatever, have a great day. This isn't for everybody, no hard feelings. You're still my best friend. right? You're still my sister. Nothing changed, right? And then you're going to follow up with them 2 to 3 days after meeting them. That's that initial text, just saying, hey, I gave you a brochure, just checking to see if there's anything I can help you with. And now you're going to get a brochure to every campaign, every customer, every campaign. I give you 1 point for that because if you use our system, it literally takes you 2 minutes to set that up. I mean, you've got to set it all up ahead of time, but each campaign, it literally takes you 2 minutes to send out those brochures, whether it's going to 10 people or 1,000 people. It still takes you like 2 minutes. And then the follow-up text to every customer using our system with Project Broadcast literally takes you 2 minutes to set that up. So I give you 1 point. You know, if you're doing this yourself, if you're manually driving around town, give yourself a point for every maybe 30 minutes that you spend delivering brochures. Or if you're texting, then give yourself a point for maybe every 30 minutes, or I don't know how, you know, whatever. But be realistic, because this is why we push systems. Because if you have 100 or 150 people you need to text, how likely is it that you're going to text every single one of them? More than likely, you're going to get through 10 or 20, and then you're either going to run out of time or you're going to get interrupted or something, and all those people aren't going to get texted, which is why it's so crucial to have a system to do it. Plus, having that system guarantees that your business goes on while you have time to do other things, to maybe spend more time prospecting or spend more time with your family or whatever, right? Our system allowed Richard and I, our business never skipped a beat, even the last year of my mom's life when she was in and out of the hospital and we were taking her to emergency rooms and we were calling 911. It seemed like every 5 minutes. It seemed like we were having to do that a lot, right? But my business never skipped a beat because we had everything systemized. And we'll go back into that system in just a minute. Okay, so follow-up text to every customer, place your order, you get a point for that. Sort and deliver your orders, a point for that. Obviously, that depends on how long it's going to take you. If it's going to take you more time, give yourself a point for every 30 minutes or something that you're spending sorting your orders and delivering them, right? Passive prospecting, this is getting brochures door to door, but not actually knocking on them and getting contact information. If you were knocking on the doors and getting contact information, then give yourself a point for every name you collect, right? Just like you did up here. But this would be like 1 point, maybe it's 1 point for every half hour you spend or every hour you spend or something, you know, because it's passive. This is passive. It's not a way for you to follow up. You don't have a way to stay in charge of your business. You're just hoping someone will call. That's why I call it passive. Same thing with posting on Facebook. It's more passive because you're making posts and you're hoping somebody will respond and somebody will buy from you, but you don't have a way to follow up with them, right? And then we get a point for everybody you recruit. Training contacts with your new recruits, those are really important. You can review your leadership reports. If you're in leadership, that's really important. Business training and personal development, those are really important, because if you don't know about your products, or you haven't learned how to sell, or you haven't learned how to grow your business, or you haven't done personal development, you're not going to make the money, because your income grows in relation to your personal development. So all of these things are important. Everything on this list is important, and you want to work to get 8 points a day, but you really want your the bulk of your efforts to be with prospecting, getting new people and getting a brochure to them and following up with them. That's your income producing activities. That's where you're going to make the most money. So that's our daily 8. And then we have a daily 8 challenge, right? So you can click here to log your weekly numbers. Every weekend, if you come in here and log your numbers, it's just your name, what campaign we're in, how many points did you get this week, what were your wins this week, what did you accomplish well or do well, what are you proud of, what did you not do so well, and how can you do better next time? I'm not going to judge you. This isn't about that. We're not here to judge you. We're here to support you. You do not need to be on our team to be a part of our daily 8 challenge. It's for everybody. And I will see it. And well, first off, by you filling out this form, number 1, you held yourself accountable. You filled out the form and you got points, right? Number 2, you figured out what you did really well, and now you know what to do again. And number 3, you figured out what you didn't do so well, and you already know how to do better next time because you already took the time to figure that out. So there's really nothing for me to do except support you and recognize you and cheer you on. That's what we do. If you put something in here that maybe you're struggling with, And if I have a blog post that I think might help you, I might email you and send you that, just because it might help you and it's something you're struggling with. But I'm not here to judge you. I'm only here to support you. So that's all this is about. And then be sure that you're in our Online Beauty Biz Facebook group. I assume most of you are already if you're on this call. This is our group right here. Be sure to join that. And here's the post about automating your follow-ups. This goes into a lot more detail about how to automate, and there's a whole training. We did a Facebook Live on it. And so basically the way it works is I use Campaign Mailer to mail brochures to every single customer that I have on my list. I mean, I don't mail brochures to everybody, but the ones that I have promised brochures to, I mail brochures to them, right? I text some and I do other things too, but I do mail quite a few brochures. And it doesn't matter if they live next door to me. I still mail it to them because I don't want to, and it doesn't matter if they placed an order this campaign and I'm going to put one in their bag. I still mail it to them. First off, I mail them way in advance. Campaign, because it's bulk mail, it has to be done way in advance. So you don't know if they're going to place an order, right? But also, do you really want to spend the time trying to figure out who ordered from you or who got a brochure and who didn't? Just make sure everybody gets one. Just boom, click Campaign Mailer, send out the brochures, and you're done. And then I use dial my calls for the little old ladies who don't text or don't have cell phones. And it's just a pre-recorded message. So dial my calls their house. They say hello. They pick up their phone. They say hello. They get this quick message from me. Hi, this is Lynn, your Avon lady. Just a friendly reminder, my order will be going in this Wednesday. I don't put dates in this or anything. So I can use the same recording every single time. So I just schedule it and it goes out saying, hey, just a reminder my order's going in. And then for texting, I use Project Broadcast. And so that's just a quick text message with maybe a picture of the brochure saying, hey, my order's going in on Wednesday. If there's anything you need, let me know by Tuesday or tomorrow, right? I also use Project Broadcast for my digital text list. And on the digital text list, I send them a text every single week. The reason for that is if I text you and say, welcome to Campaign 4, here's my digital brochure for Campaign 4, and you're busy, maybe you're in the grocery store, or maybe you're with your kids, or maybe whatever, you're busy. And so you look at it and go, oh, great. And then you forget about it because by the time you get back to it, you've got 20 other texts, right? So that's why every week I send you a text, because the second week would be kind of a reminder for the fact that it's going to be ending. So the second week, it would be something like, hey, just a reminder, if there's anything you saw in the brochure, it's only going to be effective through next Tuesday. So be sure to get your orders in if you want something. If not, no worries, right? But that's just how I do it. There's also a whole article in this blog about how to do the digital brochure text if you want to do that. But this is my follow-up, mostly for customers that we deliver to. And so that's automating your follow-ups. Again, everybody's welcome to be in this Daily 8 challenge. And we, like I said, we're here to support you, right? So let's talk today about how to goal setting plan for higher sales and to earn the Cancun trip. Who wants to go to Cancun? Me, right? We are going to do everything we can to go. We will be there. How about you? Hi, Andrew. Good to see you. So when it comes right down to it, we have two choices. We can get by in our Avon business, or we can design the thriving business we want, right? So when you create the opportunity to design your Avon business, and create being the key word, because it's not going to be just handed to you. You know, you're not going to get it by accident. You're not going to wake up one day and go, oh, I earned a trip. Didn't work that way, because you have to stretch. You have to really stretch, right? But you can design a life that makes you happy, fulfilled, and successful, whatever that looks like to you. So what are you looking for in your Avon business this year? You want to make more money? You want to move to the next title? You want to earn the Cancun trip? Maybe you just want to make enough money to have little vacations for you and your family, like one big vacation a year. Maybe the Cancun trip will actually take care of that, and you'll have money for spending money, right? Maybe you just want to make enough money to pay for, I don't know, little Susie's braces or whatever, but you need to decide that for yourself. What do you want out of your Avon business? So I have this goal planning tracker. That's what I had already printed out. Right here, this goal planning, and we're going to come back to this, and we'll go into it in a lot more detail. But I have a goal planning tracker there, and so that you can see how I suggest that you set your goals and you work you work to reverse engineer the steps to receive them. So Andrew, hi Sherry, good to see you. Andrew says, I want to pay off my student loans. That's a good goal. That's an awesome goal. So what you need to do is figure out how much do you need to make in order to do that, Andrew. So what we're going to do then is start with a goal setting session. Although you definitely want to set yearly income goals, I sometimes breaking them down into 6 months. Actually, I would set yearly income goals if that's at all possible. Or you could even set a monthly, how much do you need to earn a month, right? Whatever. And then you want to go back and revisit that at 6 months. And actually, I suggest that you revisit them at 3 months. I mean, you need to revisit your goals quarterly to make sure that you're on track to where you want to go. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. And so 6-month increments are great because it gives you that chance to evaluate and recalibrate halfway through the year. If you're a cruise ship or you're an airplane and you get in and you say, we're going to this location, and you set all the systems on the plane or on the ship to say, get me there. It's not going to just get you there. It's not a straight line. You constantly have to readjust. So that's why the pilot on the airplane or the pilot on the ship, they're like literally watching to see where they're at, and they're making course corrections always to get there. And that's what we are going to be doing, right? But if you haven't already, because we're already halfway through January, take some time and ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish this year? How many people do I want to impact and inspire this year? What are my income goals, right? If you have a team, you can schedule a Zoom call with your leaders and maybe ask questions of your team and figure out what your team wants. It's a great way to set goals for your team, maybe get your buy-in from your team leaders, right? And so then what I strongly suggest this is set 3 income goals, 3 of them, right? So the first income could be a number that makes you feel like you had a big accomplishment in your business. That would be like a SMART goal. That would be, for those of you that are familiar with SMART goals, that SMART is an acronym. So SMART would be, S would be, my mind just went blank. What is that?
Was it system? I can't remember. No.
Specific.
Specific, yes.
Specific goals. So it has to be a specific number. What do you want to reach, right? M is measurable. Were you able to get there? A is action. So what actions do you need to take to get there? R is SMART. So specific, measurable, actionable.
I can't remember either now.
I don't know. And T is time-based.
Yeah.
So anyway, realistic. R is realistic.
Yes.
And T is time-based. That's a SMART goal. And so maybe that SMART goal might be a 20% increase or 15% or 10% or whatever. That would be your first goal, right? That would be something that if you reach that goal, you'd feel like you really did a big accomplishment. You feel like you grew and you got there. Right? Your second annual income goal would be more of a wow goal. That might be something like, man, I don't think I can get this, but man, I'm going to make the goal and I'm just going to put it out to the universe and see if we can get there. And the third one is like a holy crap income goal, right? That would be like, that third goal just blows your mind. And the truth is you probably believe it's impossible, but that's okay because it's that goal that's going to stretch your mind to the next level. So this income planning session is your first step. And there's no point in planning activities for the next 6 months if you don't know what it is that you're trying to reach. What are you trying to get to, right? So get busy, grab a notepad or a journal and write your 3 income goals down. So how are we going to achieve it? Well, now that we know what our income targets are, we can make a plan on how we're going to be able to achieve them. So when you first get started with Avon, you earn 25% on beauty and jewelry and 20% on fashion and home. So if we go here, we're on Avon, and we go to manage business and compensation plan. This kind of breaks it down. And I actually have some of this in the blog post, right? So when you first get started, you're brand new, you're a contender. That's what you're called if you haven't reached any sales goals yet. So if you have a $40 order, that's $40 in a campaign. So if you have an online order for $20 and then you place an order for $20, that puts you at the $40 $40, right? So once you've got $40, you're going to earn 25% in beauty and 20% in fashion and home. Once you get to Premier, that means you've sold $5,000 within a single year. That bumps you up to 30% earnings and then 20% in fashion and home. And then when you keep going and you've sold $10,000, now you're President's Club, and now you're going to earn 40% on beauty and jewelry and 25% on fashion and home. It's 25% the rest of the way on home and fashion, but these numbers go up as you grow your business. Your commission goes up. So let's see. Let's get out of some of this. We have too much up here. Okay. So if you're brand new, then there's a Pathway to Premier program that's going to help you to get to that Premier level. And as you follow that program, you can earn over $3,000 in your first 8 campaigns. So here's a post that will help you. So there's a Pathway to Premier. All the details are in here. I'm not going to go into that now, but it's all about how you can get, bonuses, like $100 bonus for selling $1,000. You get a $20 bonus for every $200 you do in a single campaign. And there's like all kinds of money for you in here. So that would be your first goal. Maybe would be to get to Pathway to Premier. And there's actually a tracking sheet here for tracking your Pathway to Premier progress. Okay. Then the next level after that's President's Club. And like I just showed you on the Avon website, these are the goals to get there. So once you know what the sales level is that you want to reach, the next thing you want to do is break that down so you know what you have to do. So take that sales level you want to reach this year and divide it by 26. That's the number of campaigns in a year. So for instance, if your goal is Honor Society, you need to sell $20,000. See, Honor Society is $20,000, right? And divide that by 26, that's roughly $770 per campaign. And then you need to figure out, well, how many customers is that? And for me, it seems like the average customer order is around $25. Now, my average online order is higher than that. It's $60 typically, because customers seem to want that free shipping, so they order $60. But then I have my little old ladies that maybe order $8 to $10 a campaign. I don't know. They just seem to do that, right? A couple of deodorants or hand creams or something. And sure, sometimes I get $100 orders and sometimes I get $8 orders. But overall, $25 is probably a pretty good number. I mean, really, it's probably a little higher than that. But then $25 is an easy way for you to help you to figure out your goals, right? So let's go with that. Okay, so Avon provides that gotta get it set. With a $40 order, you can get that for $10. So that helps get us to a $50 order. And maybe you're really good at utilizing those tools. We also have those wow deals that are for a customer's $50, right? So that's another way to help you get to $50. Plus you earn 40% commission on those. So that's great. So if to get the sales that you're looking for, so let's just say you want $400 in sales a campaign. That's roughly 16 customers at $25 or 8 customers at $50. And that's the magical number that's going to get you to President's Club and the guaranteed 40% earnings, right? If you want $1,000 in sales, that's roughly 40 customer orders at $25 or 20 customers at $50. And that number is going to not magically, but that's the number you need to get to Honor Society. $1,500 sales would be 60 orders at $25 or 30 at $50, and that would get you to Rose Circle. $2,500 in sales would be roughly 100 customer orders or 50 at $50 each, which would get you to David McConnell. And then $4,500, which would be 180 customer orders or 90 orders at $50, get you to President's Council, right? And then the 8,500, now we're really stretching, and this will get you to Inner Circle. So how much you earn depends on how much effort you put into your business. We all know that, right? It's all about, it's funny because I talk to people all the time. If you work at McDonald's and let's just say that you're making $10 an hour. I know they're paying more now, but I just want to put a number that's easy to understand. Didn't used to be that way when I first started talking about it. McDonald's is paying better now. But let's just say they pay $10 an hour. And if you work 8 hours, then you make $80, right? You don't really make 80 because Uncle Sam takes their cut out of it before you get paid. But let's just say that you worked, just to make it simple, you worked 10 hours or you worked 8 hours, you made $80, right? Well, if you worked 8 hours in your Avon business, you're going to make more than $80 because you're going to get more sales. And that's what's so cool, is because you're in control of your income because you have your own business, and you can control how much you're going to sell. And so $80 would just be what, three and a half customer orders, right? If you worked for 8 hours, I bet you could get more than that in customer orders. So you would make more money, right? But now that you have your income goal and you figured out what your sales level is going to help you achieve it, now you need to get into action. So the first step is get out your calendar, right? Sit down and plan specific time slots where you're going to be building your business. Be realistic. Obviously, if you have a really large income goal, then you're going to need to spend a lot of time and effort to achieve it. If you have a smaller goal, you can spend less time. So consistency is key, and that daily 8 is going to help you do that too. It's about being consistent. It's about maybe working on getting 8 points every single day, right? 5 days a week, right? Here's a post that will give you more tips about being consistent. And I'm not going to go through all that, but you can look at that. And then be sure that you have plenty of brochures. So the Avon brochure is your store. If you don't get that brochure in front of enough people, then your store is effectively closed, right? So you can use paper brochures or digital brochures or a combination of the two. It's up to you. Here's a post about how to share your digital brochure, if that's an option that you want to use. Excuse me. So regardless of what type of brochure you're going to use, the numbers are still going to apply, whether you're using paper or digital, okay? There's no set amount, there's no guarantee, but I have come up with these numbers that, we've been doing it for 20 years, and I've come up with these numbers that work for me. Now, they may not be the exact same numbers for you, it may be different for you. And one caveat is, back when we were selling, Richard and I were selling $6,000 to $8,000 a campaign. We were literally selling over $100,000 a year. We were doing 1,600 brochures. Now, some of those brochures went to we bulk mailed ourselves back then. We didn't have campaign mailer. And so some of those went to customers in the mail. Some of them went door to door with people that we didn't know. We left brochures on doorsteps. Some of them were me standing in front of the grocery store passing out brochures. And so in a lot of cases, we didn't have names and numbers to follow up on. I got names whenever I could. But the fact is, if you're not getting names, you're going to need a whole lot more brochures. And so if you're really good about getting names and you're really good about following up, you might not need as many brochures. But this is just an example. For $400 in sales, maybe 100 brochures, right? For $1,000 in sales, maybe 250 brochures. For $1,500, it's probably 375 brochures. For $2,500, 625 brochures. For $4,500, it's 1,125 brochures. And for $8,500, it's 2,125 brochures. I wanted to point this out because I get people that say, well, I can't afford the brochures. That's too much money. You guys, look at this brochure. It's 20, it's like 222 pages. Full color, beautiful brochure. The cost on these, if you buy 6 packs of these, they're 33 cents each. 33 cents each. You cannot get 1-page color copy at Kinko's for that. So this is an incredible deal. So if you were to buy 375 brochures, it would cost you about $80 for those brochures. But that's going to probably give you $1,500 in sales, right? If you looked at 1,125 brochures, it would cost you approximately $230 for the brochures for $4,500 in sales if you work it and if you use them the way I'm teaching you. If they're sitting in boxes in your door, in your bedroom or whatever, they're not going to make you any money. But $230 for $4,500 in sales, that's not so bad, right? When you look at it in context. And you can start small and grow up, right? But the digital brochure costs you nothing, but keep in mind this, you're still going to need to go through those same kinds of numbers. So if you want $1,500 in sales, you're going to have to talk to 375 people, or you're going to have to be texting 375 digital brochures out, right? So it's all about the numbers, right? So then we're going to get into action with the income producing activities. And this is where most of your effort is going to be. And that's where our daily aid system is really helpful, because it's full of income producing activities, right? It's it's all about getting names and numbers and following up and doing all that. And you can get more information about here. It's the same things that we just clicked on earlier. So your goal is to get every one of those brochures out to potential customers and collect contact information along the way. So get out of your house. You might go door to door. Here's a blog post about how to do door-to-door prospecting. This goes into details about how to do it. Richard and I, that's how we grew our business to over 100,000 a year, was door-to-door prospecting. Sorry, I'm not understanding this, Mathis Villa. I'm not understanding what you're saying. Sorry. You can stand outside a grocery store. You can start a business office route. I did this when I quit my job. I did businesses. It's a great way to grow your business, and it goes into a lot of details there, or any number of other ideas. So here's how a whole blog post about how to collect, how to get more people into your business, how to find more customers. So it's all here, right? And if your sales goals are high, here's a post about massive action. So there's another post about how to get into massive action. Be sure to get a name and number or email for every person that you meet. And so this talks about collecting contact information, right? And here's the Avon drawing forms that I use. There you go. So you just gives their name and their address and city and phone and email, and then they can check on there how would they like to have a brochure, in the mail or email or text. And then what's really cool is the last one's, I would like more information about selling Avon. This is a great way to get their contact information. You could also put a sticky note, just a little sticky note on the front of the brochure. And when you hand it out, just say, could you put your name and number on here, and I'll just text you before I place my order. Most people are totally fine if you use that kind of terminology. If you say, well, I'll text you, because they might not want you to call them, but they're okay with the text saying, hey, my order's going in, if there's anything you want, right? So, okay, so there we go. Now we're going to enter any leads you get, any people that are interested in selling. You're going to put them in your follow-up system. So here is some more about automating your follow-ups, right? As you talk to people who would like a brochure, be sure to also enter them into your web office. So also enter them into your contact manager in Avon. That way Avon will also market to them for you, and they do an amazing job at it, right? And you'll want to create brochure distribution lists so that you know, because you need to know who you're getting brochures to. And campaign mailer is great. Plus campaign mailer, you put them in as you get them, and they're all in this big list, and then you just, I do this stuff daily. So my campaign mailer, my text list, my voice list, you know, the phones, if somebody dies or says, don't send me any more books, I take them out. I do it that day. If I meet somebody, I add them in. I do it that day. And so then when it comes time for me to send the next campaign books, it's all ready to go. The only thing I have to do is go to campaign mailer, change the date, because I go on campaign mailer, I say campaign 4 is effective online from 1/19/22 to 2/1/22. So I change that part. So I just go in and change that, and then click on submit, pay, boom, they're sent. It's just that easy. Okay. So then follow up, right? Follow up. That's like the most important thing. Once you've gotten new people, probably the most important thing is getting new prospects. But the second most important, well, is getting a brochure to them every campaign, and then follow up. Those three things are probably critical to your business, right? People are busy. Many times they want to order, but they might even mark up their brochure, but then they forget to call you. You know, they're busy. They're in the bathroom. They're looking at your brochure while they're in the bathroom. They're a mom and they have kids, and it's the only quiet time they can get. Or they're in bed late at night and they're scrolling through your brochure, and they might mark up the pages, but then they put it down and they forget to call you. And so if you don't do that follow-up, you're not going to get their order, right? And so this is critical. And so back 8 years ago, when I was living in California, actually it was probably 10 years now, when I was living in California, we were selling over 110,000 a year. And I started using a phone service back then. We didn't have texting, not the way we do now. So I did phone messages, and I would do it on Friday morning, because I learned at the time I had to place my order on Tuesday well, no, I think the order had to go in by Wednesday morning. And so, and I started on Saturday. And what I found was, because it's a pre-recorded message, on Saturday, a lot of times the kids would be home and they would answer and they'd go, Mom, it's for you. And by the time Mom came to the phone, the message had already run through and they didn't hear it. So by doing it on Friday morning, it went to, most of the time, if the mom wasn't home, it went to voicemail if she was working or whatever, but that way she got it, right? And so maybe when on Friday morning, my sales were like between 500 and 800 for that campaign. But once I did that phone message, by Monday, my sales were like close to 6,000 a campaign. That's how important those follow-ups are. That's what it did. It's huge, right? So now you're going to deliver and bag those orders and then just rinse and repeat. Right? So let's go into some details. Let's look at this. We don't need the daily aid anymore. Let's go into this goal planning. I have made some things to look at. Okay, so this is like something you can fill out and you can work it, and this is something that's going to help you get there. So first off, I kind of figured out how much do you want to earn. So I did this based on beauty and jewelry, because you're going to earn 20% to start and then 25% on fashion and home. But I think the bulk of our orders really are beauty and jewelry, and I hope that they are for you too. If not, you'll have to adjust, right? You'll have to adjust the numbers. But if you sell 5,000 a campaign and you're at 30% earnings, you're going to make about $1,500. That's a year. $5,000 in a year Premier, you're going to earn about $1,500. If you sell at President's Club, $10,000 times 40%, that puts you at $4,000. That's for the year. Honor Society at $20,000 puts you at $8,000. Rose Circle at $35,000 puts you're now at 45% earnings, puts you at $15,750. And based on this, you could kind of go through all the rest of the numbers if you're looking at McConnell Club or Inner Circle or President's Club, right? President's Council, if you're selling $100,000 a year. So that would give you an idea of what your earnings is. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put how much do you want to make, right? But I'm going to start with a new rep. Let's start with a brand new rep. And so we're not going to actually put an income goal here, because I'm going to assume that you're just going to work on getting to Premier. You're going to work the pathway to Premier to try to, so you're going to work those goals to try to get to the most you can out of your first 8 campaigns, right? And so your first goal, let's see if I can do this. So your first goal then would be Premier, right? I'm going to just do this in red. Hopefully they'll stay red. Okay, so your first goal would be, well, no, I guess not. It's black. Okay, your second goal might be President's Club. We'll just say PC, which is 10,000, right? Your first goal, this is a sales goal, not an income goal, but so this would be 5,000. And President's Club, and then maybe we'll just really stretch and we'll say Honor Society, which is 20,000. Maybe those are the President's Club level that you're going to need to get there, right? So then we move on to the next page. How much do you need to sell each campaign? So you just take that divided by 26, because there's 26 campaigns in a year. And so for Premier, $5,000 divided by 26 is...
They have to do that in 8 months. Don't they have to do that in 8 campaigns though? Is that something?
No.
Oh, that's right.
No.
It used to be, yeah, for the bonus things. Yeah.
Well, that has to do with,
yeah.
But we're not talking about that right now. So, okay, so $5,000 to make Premier divided by 26 campaigns is $192.31. Okay, if you wanted to make President's Club, it would be $384.62. So that would be 10,000 divided by 26, and then Honor Society would be $769.23. That's how much you would have to sell to reach those levels. And then you want to figure out what an average customer order is. And so, I'm going to go with $25. We'll just do 25 across the board. If your average is 50, go ahead and use that to figure your numbers. Okay. So then how many customers do you need each campaign? Well, for Premier, to get $192.31 divided by by a $25 order would put you at 8 customers a campaign, right? And then President's Club would put you at about 16 customers, and Honor Society would put you at about 31 customers. So that's not so hard, right? And then you break that down even more. You take that 8 customers divided by 14 days, because there's 14 days in a campaign, and that puts you at less than 1. So that's literally less than 1 customer a day to get to Premier. To get to President's Club, it would be 1.2 customers, and to get to Honor Society, it would be 2.2. So seriously, if your goal was to get to Honor Society, you could do 2 customers a day, couldn't you? 2 $25 orders a day would get you to Honor Society. And then how many brochures? Well, I went back up here to my brochures and said, okay, well, what do I need? And so I just sort of guessed, right? But here maybe 50 brochures to get to Premier, and maybe 100 brochures to get to President's Club. Again, these numbers are not set in stone. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. And then maybe 200 brochures to get to Honor Society. These are not set in stone, but this is going to be your little goal to get you to Premier. Okay, pretty cool, huh? It's totally doable if you break it down into the steps. So let's look at President's Club. Let's say that you wanted to get to President's Club, which is $10,000, right? So now we want to look at your income goals. Let's just say, well, I don't know. I put these numbers in. Where did I get these numbers? Oh, this is earnings. This is earnings. So I went here and I said, okay, President's Club is $4,000. And then Honor Society, the earnings is $8,000. And Rose Circle is $15,750. Okay, that's your earnings. So I put those in as the 3 goals. So this number here would be $4,000. So if I earned $4,000, I'd be pretty happy because my goal was President's Club, right? This number to get Honor Society would be $8,000. And then this one is Rose Circle would be $15,750. So maybe those would be your annual income. So what level do you need? Well, Premier is gone. So we want President's Club would be that one, and then Honor Society would be that one, and then Rose Circle, and that is, how much is that? Rose Circle, 35,000. So that would be the President's Club level that you would need to reach to get to that level, okay, to get to those earnings. Just making sure everybody's still there.
Anitra says hi.
Hi, Anitra. Oh, hi, there you go. Hi. So keep in mind, you guys, I know these are numbers. You can go back and watch this as many times as you need to. So don't let it freak you out. Don't let your eyes get really big. Just know that I'm just breaking it down. I'm just showing you how to break it down. And only one of these is going to apply to you. I'm doing all these different spreadsheets or these different forms, but only one is going to apply for you. So if you're going back to watch the replay, just focus on the one that applies to you, okay? But don't let this scare you, because it's really pretty simple math. It really is. It's just a matter of breaking it down.
Yeah, we've used this a lot. It's called reverse engineering, basically. And you take your big goal and you just chunk it down into bite-sized pieces day by day. And it's amazing how much doable it looks. If you look at a big goal, it scares you. If you chunk it down, it's reasonable to do.
Okay, so let's look at, President's Club, how much do we need to sell? Well, we'll just delete this one. And we need to sell $384.62 to get to President's Club, $769.23 to get to Honor Society. Rose Circle is $1,346.15.
Yeah, 3 in there.
No, we don't need that much. Okay, so same thing. Average customer orders $25. So how many customers do you need? Well, this one was no good anymore. So we'll just move this one. So 16 for President's Club, 31 for Honor Society, and it's 54 for Rose Circle. So I know that seems like a lot, but again, we're going to chunk it down. And so this is no longer any good. We'll make this one, we'll move this over. So to get to President's Club, it's 1.2. To get to Honor Society, it's 2.2. And to get to Rose Circle, it's 3.9. And how many brochures do you need? Again, it's just eyeballing this and kind of guessing. These are sort of realistic numbers, but again, it's different for everybody, but it gives you an idea of how much effort and how many brochures and how much you're going to have to put into it to make this work, right? So 100 brochures to make President's Club, 200 brochures to make Honor Society, 375 brochures to make Rose Circle.
That's each campaign.
That's, yeah, how many brochures each campaign. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the one thing I want to point out that I forgot to mention earlier is when we make these goals, the reason why we're doing 3 goals, because we're doing the one that would be like a SMART goal. That would be like, this would make me happy to make this first level goal. The second one is almost like doubling it, saying, wow, if I could really do that, that would be amazing. And the third one is, holy crap, I could never do that. But what happens is that stretches your mind. So if you only set one goal, if you only set a SMART goal, and you said, I want to increase my sales by 20%, you might be able to do that. You might put everything into effect to make it, to increase your sales by 20%, right? But if you set your goal or your plan and you went to your holy crap goal and you said, I want to triple my sales, or I want to increase my sales by 50% or 100%, that's a huge goal and you probably won't make it, right? Although it's amazing when you put it in your mind and you make the decision, the universe has a way of making it happen for you, because it puts your brain into gear to start thinking about how to make that happen. But even if you didn't make it, you still might come out at 30 or 40%, which is way more than the 20% you had originally planned. So see what I'm doing here? What I'm doing is stretching my mind and stretching my belief. And I'm going to do way better than just saying I'm going to increase my sales by 20%. That's why we're really stretching for these goals. Now, if you don't make them, I don't want you to beat yourself up, because the only goal that you really should beat yourself up for is the first goal. The second 2 are stretching. The second 2 are way beyond what your initial, this is how much I want to grow by. And the reason for those is so you can grow even more. But if you don't make it, this is not a time to beat yourself up. This is just a time to celebrate the fact that, wow, I grew 40% instead of 20. How cool was that, right? So you're doing really cool. You're doing really good. And that's what these goals are for. Okay, so who wants to go to Cancun? Who is going to be in Cancun with us? So be sure to say, yes, me, I want to do it, or whatever, okay? So let's look at that. So if we go back to Avon, and we go under Manage Business and Incentives Hub, that's where you're going to find all the incentives. And there's a bunch of them. And if we get down to the bottom, Destination Avon, oh, that's the Hawaii. The Cancun, after Avon, after the Hawaii's over, I'm sure they'll move Cancun up here. But right now, they have the Cancun flyer and the guide here. So let me go back to here. I've downloaded the flyer, and this is what you need to do to earn this trip. I didn't highlight that. I was highlighting what I needed to grow here. We are all going, I hope. Yes. Yes, Sherry. Let's all do it. Let's make it happen. Woohoo.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're a brand new representative, and a new representative is defined as, I have to look at this, it's really fine print. New representatives who joined on or after January 6, 2021. So if you started anytime in 2021 after January 6th, and you did not achieve President's Club status in 2021, that means you didn't make Premier or you didn't make President's Club, then you get to play as a new representative, right? The $1,000 credit from Pathway to Premier counts towards the qualification if Premier level is achieved. So anyway, so if you started anytime in 2021 that you didn't achieve Premier or President's Club, you can qualify as a new representative. So as a new representative, you need to sell $14,000 in personal sales from campaign 1 to campaign 26, 2022. That will get you a trip for one. And it's not a contest. It's not you'll be entered into a drawing. It's you do, you get. You sell 14,000, boom, you're going to be in Cancun. Just that simple. And if you want a trip for two, if you sell 19,000 in personal sales in the whole year of campaign 2022, of campaigns 1 through 26 in 2022, 19,000 will get you a trip for two. So that means you could bring your spouse, you could bring a friend, you could bring whoever. You get to bring somebody for free. So you guys, if you have never been on a trip with Avon, trust me, if you go once, you'll never miss another one. It is amazing. You're treated like kings and queens and gods. You're treated like you're just amazing. I mean, you get there, they pay for your airfare, they pay for your transfers. So you get there, you get off the airplane, they have a thing with your name on it waiting for you, and they take you to the hotel, and you get to the hotel, they hand you a drink, they hand you usually a hat or sunglasses or something, and they check you in, and everything is covered. Your alcohol, your food, your drinks, your coffee, whatever, your Wi-Fi, everything is included. Everything. Any activities that are done or any excursions that are done that Avon is doing will be paid for. If you want to do your own excursions or you want to do a spa or something, you'd have to pay for that. But I mean, everything is covered. It's like amazing. It's just amazing. So let's look at that. Let's just say you're brand new and you want to go to Cancun. So let's get back to our little tracker and figure that one out. Okay. So we are going to go back up to the top. And this is for new representatives who started after January 6, 2021. And we're going to get rid of this. And so right here, we're just going to say trip for one. And we'll do this one as a trip for two, okay? So there you go. So we know you have to earn the trip for one at least, but be really cool if you could earn the trip for two, right? Some of you, that's for sure. So this trip for one, you need to sell 14,000, and the trip for two, you need to sell 19,000. We're going to break it down exactly the same way. Okay. So we go to the next page, and we don't need this first one. Okay. So how much do you need to sell per campaign? So we're going to take that 14,000 divided by 26 is 538.46. And if we're going to do it for two, it's 19,000 divided by 6 is 730.77. Okay, that's how much you need to sell per campaign. And so if we go with the $25 average order, then we're looking at, for a trip for one, we're looking at 21.5 customers per campaign. Trip for two, we're looking at 28.1 customers a campaign. That's not so hard, right? That's really not. And then how many customers do you need each day to do that? So a trip for one is 1.5 customers a day, and a trip for two is 2 customers per day. And how many brochures? Let's just say 100 brochures for a trip for one, and 250 brochures for a trip for two. That's doable, don't you think? 2 customers a day. You know what I want you to do, whether you're tracking for President's Club or Honor Society or whatever, or whether you're tracking for the Cancun trip, make yourself a little spreadsheet or put it on a calendar, right? Maybe put on a calendar how much your sales were every day, and maybe make a spreadsheet or whatever that says how much your sales were every campaign. Know what you need. Know, okay, you need to sell, if let's just say you're working for a trip for two, you need to sell 730 a campaign. Keep in mind that, you know, we're already into campaign 4. So, you know, obviously we need to do some catch up. But keep in mind that also in the holidays, your sales are going to double and triple. So when we get towards the end of the year, you're going to have a lot more sales, but you don't want to wait for that. You want to catch up now, right? So let's just say that you haven't had any sales, or you've had a lot less than this 700 a campaign. Log it every campaign. How much did I sell this campaign? How much do I need to sell? Okay, I didn't do 730. Maybe I only did 500. Okay, so next campaign, you know you need to push harder, right? And if you keep it like this every single campaign, and you log it, you know exactly where you stand. Now you're tracking it all year long, and you're not waiting until the last month of the year going, oh my gosh, how am I going to get this done? Because you're tracking it, you're making course adjustments as you go throughout the whole year. That's how you're going to earn this trip. That's the only way you're going to earn this trip, is you have to be on top of it. You have to be on top of it from the beginning. So set your goals now, figure out what you need, and go for it. Okay?
Yeah, I would suggest taking this form or making an Excel spreadsheet so you can put the numbers in to make sure you're on track, or get a whiteboard and block it all off so that you can write numbers in all the time, something that's right in your face. You know, print off a sheet and put it on your refrigerator, whatever it takes. You know, put this in your bathroom, on the bathroom mirror. It might even be better, but just have it in your face so that you make it happen.
Yeah, I have a Google sheet that I actually track my entire business on, but I have one page on that sheet that's tracking me for the trip. And so I would put my income goal, I would plan it for 2, and I would say that I need to sell 730.77 every campaign. So across the top, I would have campaign 1, campaign 2, campaign 3, campaign 4. And then I would say what I actually have. So I plug in my numbers each campaign. And then below that, I would have what I need. And I would have that 730.77 in every single column across. And then at the end, I would total those up so that I could know where I was at to date, if I was on track or not. Whatever works for you. Find a way, even if it's just writing the number on your calendar, to make sure that you're meeting those numbers, but you need to know where you stand. There's also a tracker on Avon. Well, actually, if you have access to Vibe, there's a tracker there. I don't think there's a tracker yet in the regular Avon, but there will be soon. As soon as this incentive, as soon as they bump it up to here, then there'll be a tracker that you can access from here, from the incentives page, okay? So let's look at one more. Let's just say that you're President's Club and you want to earn this trip. So if you're President's Club, so it says contenders and premier, you have to achieve 16,000 in personal sales to earn a trip for 1, and 23,000 in personal sales to earn a trip for 2. So that's exactly the same way as the new representatives. You would just break it down, right? 16,000 divided by 26 campaigns, 23,000 divided by 26 campaigns to get a trip for 2. So let's look now if you are a President's Club. So in order to earn it, if you're President's Club or above, you have to increase your sales by 9,000 versus prior year for a trip for 1, and increase your sales by 15,000 for a trip for 2. So let's look at how you would do that. Let's get back to this goal tracker. And so let's say that you sold exactly 10,000 last year, just to try to make these numbers match. Now every single person is going to have different numbers. So don't go by the numbers I'm giving you. Just use the idea behind it and the math and how to figure it out, right? But let's just say you sold exactly $10,000. So for a trip for 1, you would need a $9,000 increase, and a trip for 2, you would need a $15,000 increase. So if you sold 10,000 last year, then that would mean you would need a 19,000 this year that you would have to sell for a trip for 1. And if you had sold 10,000 last year, you would be at 25,000 for a trip for 2. That's what you would have to sell, right? So it's whatever you sold last year plus whatever it was, whatever I said.
The increase.
9,000 or 15,000, right? Okay, so how much do you need to sell a campaign? Well, now you're going to need to sell 730.77 a campaign for a trip for 1, or 961.54 for a trip for 2. Take an average of $25 customer order. That puts you at 29.2 customers per campaign for a trip for 1, and 38.46, or you could say 38.5 for a trip for 2. And then break that down again, divided by 14 days. That puts you at, for a trip for 1, you would need 2 orders a day times 14 days, or a trip for 2 would be 2.7. And then brochures, I'm looking at 200 and maybe 250. So 2.7, that's doable, right? If you say I am not going to bed until I get 2.7 or maybe 3 orders, say I'm gonna have a minimum of 2, preferably 3 orders every single day. I'm not going to bed till I have 3 orders. That means you work your business to get those 3 orders. If you can get 4 or 5, that's even better, especially since you probably need to catch up for the first 3 campaigns that you missed already.
Yeah, generally what we like to do is when we have our goals like this, if our goal was 2.7 customers a day, we would just say 3. And like on the money goals or whatever, you just kind of round up a little bit, because you don't want to wait till the 11th hour. You don't want to wait till one day before in December when the incentive is over, that you're racing in the last 2 hours before to get the sales you need. You want to try to hit it a little early. So round some of the numbers up just so you can have a little breathing room.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And because you've got the whole year ahead of you, you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. So just get on top of it now. Don't wait till till you're behind the ball later in the year, right? So looking at my numbers, I need to sell. You guys, here's the deal. It's a stretch. It's a stretch for everybody. It's a stretch if you're brand new and you have to sell, what did I say, 14,000 or 19,000? If it's a stretch if you have to increase your sales to make this trip, but it's a stretch. But Avon's just not going to hand you a trip that's worth $5,000 without you having to put some effort into it, right? And the really cool thing is, it used to be that you had to sell at President's Council or above. That means you had to sell 110,000 a year, or you had to be the top level of leadership, which is executive, in order to earn these trips. Now Avon's making them available to everybody. How cool is that? We all get to earn them. We just have to stretch a little bit. So for me, just to tell you where we're at, just to show you, I have to sell $47,000 to get a trip for 1, and I have to sell $53,000 for a trip for 2. Is that going to be a stretch? Yes, it's going to be a big stretch for me, especially because last year, right in the middle of COVID, we were really pushing all the cool things that Avon had with the masks and all the COVID stuff, and so we had really high numbers last year. So it's going to be a stretch for us, but it's a stretch for all of you. And Anitra says, I know I have to catch up. I'm so behind. But you know what? We all do. Anitra, we all do. And using something like this and breaking it down and knowing where you need to be, that's what's going to get you there. That's what's going to do it. You can make this happen. You absolutely can. So before I go any further, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I mean, really, the whole thing about sales, the beauty of it is it's kind of obvious, and Lynn's already said it several times. Avon already puts the goals out there for you every year. You want to be President's Club, sell $10,000. If you want to be Honor Society, 20, etc. All the money goals are there, and then the holy smokes things is always the incentive every year. You can do other things too, but that's always the one that you want to try to stretch for, because it's just so worth it to go. Just to give you an example, this time for Hawaii, so many people earn the Hawaii trip. They really worked hard to earn this trip that Avon had to split the times people go into 3 different dates, 3 different blocks of dates, because the resort only holds so many people, and I think it was almost 1,300 people earned the trip. 1,277 people earned the trip, and there's only like 400 or 500 rooms in the hotel. So they've had to split it over 3 different dates, running into each other. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so cool. I mean, the goals are there, and you make of it what you want to make of it, but the automatic goals are there. Hitting different sales goals or the special trips every year.
Yeah. There's also options for leadership. I'm not going into that. If you're in leadership, I think you'll probably understand enough to be able to figure that out. But I want to point something out. I know that, I'm talking about all the stuff you have to do to reach these goals, and I know it's a lot, right? I know $8,500 in sales is 2,000 brochures, and you're having to get out that many brochures, and you're having to talk to that many people. But if you're selling at 8,500, let's just say times 45%, because that would be what your earnings are, you've made $3,825. Is that, in a campaign. That's in a campaign. Times that by 26, you're earning $99,450. That's almost $100,000 a year that you're earning if you're selling that kind of quantity. Okay, 8,500. But let's put that into perspective. If you get a job, and I don't know, everybody here has different skills, different backgrounds. You might be able to get a job that pays $100,000 a year. But I'm going to guess most of the people on this call, if you were to go get a job, you're going to make 40, maybe 40,000 a year. And you're going to have to work 40 hours a week. You can do $8,000 in sales in less than 40 hours a week if you work it smart and if you work it focused and smart. You could do it in a whole lot less than 40 hours a week. So I know it sounds like a lot, but compare that to a job. And that's the cool thing about selling Avon, is that you get to be in charge of what you want. And if you want to make $100,000 a year, you can. You can, but you're going to have to do these kinds of numbers. But you can do it in a lot less than 40 hours a week. That's the key. That's the beauty of it. So it looks like a lot, but it's really just working the numbers. So, so get into action, make it happen. Let me see. Let me have my wrap up. So goal setting and planning is the first step to finding your success, because if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. So start by blocking out time, create your goal setting plan, you know, and then every week, every campaign, sit down and check in with yourself. Log where you're at. Log your numbers. How close am I to making it? Am I on track or am I not on track? What do I need to change, right? That's crucial, because without reevaluating, you won't be able to give yourself feedback, and it's feedback that drives that continual change and growth. And so if you're happy with your progress, you know, when you're looking at it, then congratulate yourself and celebrate. If not, then identify areas where you can improve. This is not about beating yourself up. It's just a fact of life. It just is what it is. I didn't quite make it this campaign. Doesn't matter why. Does not matter why. There's no judgment here. There's no making excuses. But you can say, I didn't make it because I didn't put the effort in. Cool. Is that okay with you? Is it okay with you that you didn't make it? If so, cool. Then congratulate yourself. But if you want more, then just say, okay, I didn't put the effort in. I need to put more effort in. Let's see what will happen if I put more effort in. That's all it is. It's not judgment. It's not anything. It's just figuring out. It's like literally numbers. It's just numbers. It's not emotion. Take the emotion out of it. Did I do it or did I not do it? If I didn't do it, what can I do to make it happen this campaign? And if you do that every campaign, you will get there. I promise you, you'll get there. You just have to put the effort into it. And by logging your numbers every campaign, you're going to know if you're putting in enough effort or if you need more. That's it. That's all it is. So let's go back to us. Just us. There we go. Boom. All right, so that's all I have. We went a little over an hour. We went a little longer than I would have wanted to. It was a lot of information. I understand that. But don't let it overwhelm you, because it's very simple. It's all very simple math. It's how much do you want to make? Break it down into how many customers you need a campaign, and then how many customers you need a day. And that's it. That's all you need to do. And you can make this happen, and then we can buy you a drink in Cancun, because I'm going to do everything I can to get there.
If you're there, you can buy me a margarita.
Keep in mind, Avon's paying, so you can
That's
buy
right.
anybody a drink if you want, because Avon's paying.
Yeah, this will be on Online Beauty Biz, and you can refer back to it. And that's the whole beauty of these, is that they're recorded, so you can go back and just chunk through it. Just, you know, start and stop all the time. You know, learn what you need to learn, and then move on to the next little segment.
Yeah, you'll be able to find this on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube right now, so you'll be able to find this on YouTube. And also, I will post this in this post, so the video will be right there with the training. Okay, so go out there, have an amazing week. We'll be back next Sunday, same time, same place. We'll see you then.
Yep. Cheers, Sherry. Bye. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye. Yes, Sherry, we're gonna have a drink together. See you next week. Bye-bye.